This is sort of a unique assemblage only in that we have senior representatives of all of the major second screen platform providers on a panel at the same time. And note that just as I say that, I will apologize that our first panelist to be introduced was unable to make it. But if he were here, you would now see a cartoon character of Greg Consiglio from Vigil, who is being replaced today by Eric Sattler, VP Business Development. Eric, get out here. All right. Next in line, and this one, the cartoon character will be accurate. I want you to pay particular attention not to the shoes on the cartoon character, but the shoes on the gentleman, Carlos Diaz, CEO of Quarter. Check out the red sneakers, guys. He doesn't have his red sneakers on. Find a seat, find a microphone. All right. Now, the next one is the guy who's actually responsible for the whole superhero shtick. And that is because he had been on one of my panels before. He didn't like the whole white lab coat thing. I believe the word he used was degrading. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Jason Forbes, EVP and General Manager US from Zbox. And they almost got the hair right. I've been trying to get my hair to do that for 2 years, but I can't make it stand up. Okay. Next in line is the Chief Marketing Officer from Connect TV, Mr. Stacy Jolna. Now that's a pretty accurate. I sort of like that one, Stace. That's working for me. Okay. Now we have Kevin McGurn. We're going to have to get an extra person on that side, just so you know. Kevin McGurn, Chief Revenue Officer from Shazam. And that's not a bad representation. All right. Now, for those of you who have a little bit of history in this space, at one point in time, there was a merger that was supposed to happen between Vigil and Get Glue, and I, for one, was dying to introduce somebody from a company which would have been renamed Giggle, but that didn't happen. In point of fact, I.TV, the right letters in the name, but you have to remove the dot. Brad Pilo is CEO of I.TV, and they've just acquired Get Glue. Brad? Where's your cartoon? Well, now that's sort of interesting. All right, move over a bit and please hand Brad. Everybody's sessions are on my laptop except for Brad. He had to be different. He has to have his own, so there's his. Okay, and lastly, we have a special agent provocateur who has just recently completed a summer at the Turner Media Camp, which might sound like something where you learn how to play the flute and snare drums and band camp and all like such as that. In reality, it is an immersive experience, and Mick is here because he can say things on the part of networks that the networks themselves can't say, because they all have business relationships with these guys. It's Mick Darling, CEO of Tomorrowish. That's not bad, Mick. I sort of like that. Spit girl, okay. All right. What we are going to do, and I am then going to shut up, you can applaud later, is we're going to let each of these guys sort of tell us a little bit about what they're doing. They've got 3 minutes. This is the first time that you have seen them all together in one place, and I've asked them to concentrate on what they're doing with their consumer products. And we are going to talk about this space and what makes these guys different and the problems that they've encountered and their plans going forwards. But first, we're going to hear from Eric Sattler at Vigil. You have a microphone that works? All right.
I believe so.
If we bring up my computer screen, look at those guys. Dear Lord Almighty. Okay. We have Vigil. There you go.
I'm just glad I was a last-minute substitution because no one wanted to see me in spandex up there. Wouldn't have been pretty. So to get started from the Vigil side, thank you all for having me today. I think the best place to start, it's been the last 2 years in social TV have been very interesting, and I think all of our thoughts around the space have evolved. I think Vigil's view is the media landscape, broadly speaking, not just TV, is very crowded. TV, music, movies, live entertainment, consumers have a lot of choice. Networks and programmers have a lot of opportunities to try to drive people to these different channels, these different content, sources. And Vigil, our view on this is we want to help drive that decision making. So while we're starting in TV, and I'll talk a little bit about where we're going in a minute, we believe that we are creating a loyalty program to help drive promotion of entertainment content and also help connect advertisers to those individuals. We do this by using an incentive layer. So we give people points, we give people product to help try out specific shows. Watch a show, Rogue, that's exclusive to DirecTV on Wednesday night versus checking out a show on Fox, for example. From a product standpoint, we're a mobile app. We use ACR. I know that's kind of table stakes for a lot of these companies these days. But the main point is when you check into a show, we deliver targeted advertising. We deliver second experiences like real-time polls and questions and trivia, sports fantasy apps, as well as the network apps themselves. And ultimately, you can go into the rewards catalog and cash out. So just to step back for a second, our two businesses are entertainment promotion, so media companies pay us to promote their content, their programs, and then marketers pay us to connect to verified audiences. Because we know you're watching American Idol, we can hit those users. Because we know you're playing a game, watching
whatever you want, So we're slightly different than these other guys, here because we basically we're a mobile game company. So our job is really to work with broadcasters, producers, and brands to basically turn any TV show into a social game and allow the viewers to play along their favorite program, on TV and compete with their friends. And so we don't have our own, application out there. We don't try to put, one more, second screen application for the viewer out there. So we prefer, to collaborate with broadcasters and brands to create and try to enhance, their shows, on TV with our technology. So basically, we're a gamification platform that they can use. Here is an example that Turner used our platform for the MLB playoff. They created this application named TBS Social Dugout that allows people to play along the game you're watching on TV. So that's pretty interesting because, in fact, we're talking a lot about social TV right now, what is about having a conversation about the show you're watching with other people watching the same show. What we believe at Quarter is really that the next step is really about not only interacting with other TV viewers, but really interacting with the content itself. And how can we make this content interactive and have people really engaging with the content? Obviously, everybody is looking to make the passive viewers active viewers. What we believe at Quarter is that to become an active viewer, the path to become an active viewer is first to become a player. Because it's not obvious to become. I don't know if everybody wants to become an active viewer. It's a pretty laid back experience and try to relax when you're watching something on TV. But if you can turn the viewer into a player, then you're 100% sure that he's gonna become active, because when you play, you have to be active, and that's basically what we're trying to do at Quarters. So we're working with broadcasters like Turner, for example, but we work also with advertisers. That's very interesting. So we signed a deal with Bud Light and Budweiser, and they used our technology to create a social game around NFL named Fan Zone. You can download the app in the App Store. And it's basically a game you can play along, any NFL games on TV. So we're featuring all the NFL games of this season, and we're going to do the Super Bowl, with them. And it's basically a game where you can check in and, yeah, that's it. You want me to stop?
I want you to.
Okay, perfect. And we're working with other brands and also with manufacturers, where we can embed, our technology inside existing second screen application. Like, for example, we signed a deal with Sony to embed, our gamification layer into their own second screen application. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. Jason Forbes from ZBox. Let me bring
Hey, everybody. Jason Forbes from ZBox. So I want to tee up two challenges we'll hopefully talk about today, which face everyone in this industry. One is around depth, and one is around breadth. Depth, how engaged are the audiences of your platform? Breadth, what sort of scale do you have? And I want to talk about each in turn. If we click to the next slide, please, Rick. From a consumer perspective, ZBox is religiously focused on the consumer. We bring in consumers every week into our offices in New York, London, and Sydney, listening to what they most want. And you can see some characteristics there, like social, connection to talent, gaming, good man here, alerts, feeds, and really being able to build a profile around the fans or the things you're most passionate about. So you'll see later on today, ZBox from a depth perspective has built out a series of capabilities that allow for more immersion for your favorite shows than ever before. Jump to the next slide. That actually kind of pins 5 critical pillars that really are ZBox. From discovery to social to interactivity while you're playing along with the show to commerce, buying things or ad sales, and then finally receiving more information about the show. Those 5 pillars are uniquely positioned to allow consumers to engage more deeply than anywhere else. So depth is one key piece. Next slide, please, Rick. But the other kind of key piece is ultimately how are we doing this on an ongoing basis? And what we've learned, this is our latest release, just went live last week on iOS, would encourage you guys to download it, is people want to consume their favorite shows when the show is not on. So the ability for ZBox to offer feeds, information, alerts around the show, to connect with other fans about that show when the show is not on, is one of the biggest lessons learned we've had. 24/7, fans want to connect with other fans and their favorite shows. And in our latest release, for the first time, you can really do that. Really get related, personalized feeds about your favorite shows and connect with fans just like you through your profile. Next slide, Rick. So I wanted to also talk about breadth or reach. So one of the big challenges we all have, okay, is we ultimately, as networks think about decisions around the second screen, they're thinking Facebook, they're thinking Twitter. So ultimately, we need the kind of scale to allow us to have a compelling offering for as many networks as possible for those consumers. This is an example here with Fox, with MasterChef Junior. We did this a couple of weeks ago towards the finale. Very successful in terms of driving engagement of the Fox viewer, but critically, this experience sat on Fox.com, not just on ZBox. So we call this ZBox Everywhere. The essence being allowing ZBox features to feature on any TV network site or application. On the next slide, another example for Discovery. So with Discovery Fast and Loud, the #1 cable show on a Monday night, when audiences go to discovery.com, they get this rich prediction game, they get voting, and they get this enhanced TV room where they can connect with other fans around that show. We've seen session lengths of up to 40 minutes. We've seen uniques higher than ever before. And we've seen engagement percentages up to 65%. These are the kind of breadth and depth arguments that we're seeing via syndication that are allowing us to move to the next level. And we're really very excited about it. And on the last slide, really what it tees up is as we think about the marketplace in 2014, there are 6 key characteristics. Meeting those consumer needs, enabling networks to reach their core goals, offering networks these capabilities for zero cost, offering features at scale, and most importantly, offering benchmarks bottom right, so that networks and ourselves can understand how our consumers engaging with these new experiences that we offer. So looking forward to chatting a little bit more in just a few minutes.
Thank you very much. All right, next we have Stacy Jolna, Chief Marketing Officer from Connect TV.
So good morning. There are clearly some terrific ideas around social TV, and what our business did was point us to what we believe consumers really want to do as a companion experience with their favorite television show. What networks want to do in terms of driving tune-in engagement, what brands wish to do to create a more direct marketing experience. And that's where our business took us. Doc, if you can go to the next slide, and just keep, there we go. So our mantra is watch, clip, share. We're all about video at Connect TV. So allowing users for the very first time to clip that favorite 6-second moment of the show that they're watching live, and be able to personalize it with a comment, and then one-touch share it with their entire social sphere on Twitter, on Facebook, etc. Let's go to the next slide, Rick. So the first experience, and you could just pound it out till we get to the end of the slide there. The first experience you get on Connect TV is a discovery experience where you can see what everybody else is clipping and how they're personalizing it with cute comments within that 6-second clip. Find the top clips, the most popular, the latest clips. Do a smart search by actor, by name of show, by genre of programming, sports, reality, talk, etc. And then clip it good. So keep going, Rick, until we pound it out there. So you can take that 6-second snippet, add a personal comment on screen, customize the font, make it the color you want, the size you want, the type of font you wish. It's really simple. And then one touch, it goes out to all your friends in the social sphere. Next. For the network partners, and we're working with Fox, we're working with CBS Television Distribution, this is all about helping them drive tune-in and drive engagement. So at the end of every 6-second clip that goes into the social sphere, we're pulling from the licensed metadata that we have inside Connect TV to provide an overlay of where that clip came from, the network, the show, and then a promotion for that show on what's happening in the next episode coming up tomorrow or next week. And of course, user behavior at the end of that. For brands, we've developed a new product called TV Ad Sync that syncs any ad on TV, that's right, any ad on TV, to pop open an MMA unit on the Connect TV app, right? So the ad is up here on TV. We trigger an MMA unit on Connect TV that's associated with that spot, and then when you touch it as a consumer, you have a variety of things you can do. If it's a car ad, you can, Rick, just click through. If it's a car ad, you'll see the MMA unit. One more time. More information about that Lincoln. One more time. Schedule a test drive, and one more time, because we're GPS-centric, find out where that dealership is in your neighborhood. So 30-second spot on TV, turn that into a direct marketing experience on Connect TV. So for consumers, for networks, for brands and advertisers, Connect TV is really thinking through what consumers want to experience in that companion social experience on Connect TV. Thanks.
Stacy, thank you very much. Next is Kevin McGurn, Chief Revenue Officer, do like that title, from Shazam. Now, he's right there, right?
Thanks, Rick. Chief Revenue Officer, as my dad says, just a sales guy. So we have done a number of different things here at Shazam for the past 13 years, actually. It's a company that's been around for quite some time. If you just jump forward, Rick, to the infographic. So our DNA is core to the music industry. We are a search and discovery app for anything that has audio recognition fingerprinting that we listen to first and then go out and you're able to search for through Shazam. Our key here is to just be an engagement platform regardless of the media that you're engaging with. And if you look through some of the different infographic pieces, we have 400 million global users. We sell 10% of the music in the world. We're available in 220 countries. We've had over 405 different campaigns that we've run through Shazam for TV, and we add about 12 million new users a month. So, obviously the depth and breadth is available here at Shazam. We are working across multiple platforms and engaging with a lot of different media. And specific to TV, because that's what we're talking about today, the next video will just give you a little bit of a window into what we've been doing in the past month or so here at Shazam on TV.
Cool.
We'd like to suggest that you get your phones out now. By the way, Keith, I'm still waiting on a reply here.
No video.
No video.
What we want you to do, if you Shazam any part of the show tonight for access, you can have
Yeah.
exclusive CMA awards.
It's a lot easier just giving the play-by-play if there's video and no audio. So, we'll skip through it and we'll get into the panel. But we were part of the CMAs this year. We'll be part of the Grammys coming up in January. We did about 500,000, a little more than 500,000 Shazams throughout the course of the CMAs, just shy of 500,000 for the AMAs. Lots of different points of engagement through television network tune-in, through television network programming. We were just part of Glee, their holiday mid-season finale on last Thursday night. So you'll see a lot more from us, but the biggest thing that I would want to leave you guys with is that I come to this world as someone who's engaged with marketers and advertisers and agencies for the better part of my career, the last 15 years. And what we want to do here at Shazam is be relevant on every line item of your media plan. We want to be broadcast in cinema, online, radio, and then some new technologies that we'll be putting out through the course of the spring that get you engaged in places like retail and in live environments. So again, one of the most prolific audio recognition technologies will be cross-platform more and more in 2014, and we'll be starting with the Grammys and working through the Super Bowl and on through all of the other large events that occur on TV. So we're pretty excited. New team, new focus, and a lot of different things happening for us in the new year.
Thank you. I do have to comment that Shazam has now fallen into the rather genericized product description, somewhat like Xerox. I often now see other products and other companies saying they're going to do a Shazam thing on their music, and they're going to do a Shazam thing on something else. So
Yeah, there's a lot of, we're the Shazam of out there.
So that's the good news, bad news.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right. Lastly, Brad Pilo from i.tv. He's running his own. Let's hope it works.
Thank you, Rick. I'm going to stand up so I can see my own presentation. i.tv is the company nobody knows about, and see if my clicker here will work. There we go.
Hey, all right.
We're actually over 5 years old. We are a venture and strategic-backed company who has an app in the App Store and has for 5 years. It happens to be a TV guide app and the #1 TV guide app. We diverged from that focus several years ago, though, and began building a powered by platform that powers some of the top brands in the industry. We now have 15 million monthly second screen uniques, and the news, of course, is that we recently purchased Get Glue. Just on the note of Get Glue, to update you there, Get Glue continues to be a vibrant community of TV fans, generating 30% of Twitter's primetime TV scripted audience traffic, and our social amplification is now in excess of 1 billion impressions per month. As I mentioned, we power brands primarily, though. That's been our business over the years. We are Nintendo TV on the Nintendo platforms. MVPDs at TELUS DirecTV was announced just last week. AOL, Huffington Post, Entertainment Weekly are all websites and mobile apps that we build and power. Wanted to just go now to the consumer experience and give you a couple quick examples. First, on the Nintendo platform, they were interested in engaging their audience. Their audience is a little different than the iPad world. And so one of the things that they tested out on the second screen has done very well is something called Doodles. And this allows a gamer, while watching television, to pick up his gamepad and actually draw on top of the television show. And these are actual doodles that have been created. The service, or the doodle feature, went live just 90 days ago. Nintendo users have currently created 50,000 doodles in that 90-day period. And this was just a simple idea that engages that particular demographic while watching television. And finally, something that all of our partners share across the service is synchronized advertising. That's been mentioned several times. But I wanted to show you a video that gives you a peek at what synchronized advertising can become. In this case, we're showing a Red Bull ad that not only comes up when the Red Bull ad appears on television, but they're integrated ads, meaning that you experience something on the second screen synchronously with what's appearing on the first screen. I'll let the ad play. The basketball game in the background. This is the user experience in the foreground on their tablet. Cuts to a commercial. The second screen now becomes the helmet cam, synchronized with the television commercial. We've done 3 tests with this experience thus far. What's really interesting is that the engagement rate, as you would expect, is very, very high. We're seeing upwards of 70% engagement rate as that sort of second screen ad pops up, and it just is within a couple seconds of the primary screen start, and it's inviting you to engage with what's happening on the primary screen. And these are very immersive experiences, and we think sort of the future of what we'll be seeing with second screen advertising.
Thank you, Brad. All right, first of all, I'd like everybody to give these guys a hand. They did a lot of work getting this all put together for us. And this has been an interesting year in the second screen space. We weren't sure how many providers would actually survive this year. This has been a year of consolidation, as we saw, and reinvention. And Mick, I've got some questions. Mick Darling at Tomorrow's, what do you got for these guys?
Sure, yeah, I have a couple of questions. Do you want to just start right out with the ones they don't want to answer and go right from there?
Well, okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we all know the industry is brand new, or new-ish at this point. And the numbers that a lot of people don't like to share is how much money are you actually not earning, but how much value are you providing to your clients? All right? So those are advertisers, those are TV networks for most of you. So just raise your hand. I'm going to start off really low. How many of you are making $10 a month for your clients? Are you making at least that? Okay, you're making at least $10. None of the rest of you are making $10. Okay, come on.
Yeah. Of course. No, I mean,
Yeah,
you
isn't
try
it?
to get information. I don't know if we answer, what you want, me to answer. But yes, we're making revenue. I mean, when we work with Bud Light, for example, they're spending a ton of money, with us. Of course, they're doing that for a return on investment, of course. And we've got return on investment. I mean that every time we've got an NFL fan that download this app and engage, with this app, that we receive a ton of information about the NFL fan, and that's very valuable, for Bud Light. But by the way, a way they calculate their ROI that is pretty interesting is that they really take the time of attention they can gather, with this application. Last Sunday, for example, the average time spent in the application per user was about, 76 minutes.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
that's very interesting because then they compare, this time with the attention they have with their ads, on TV, and then they can compare, the price of that.
Then let's flip it around a little bit to make it a little easier for you. How many, and we'll make a nice broad category, user interactions do you guys have on a monthly basis for your products?
Just to frame it slightly differently, because this is, we are in the early innings of our businesses here in what has loosely been called social TV. Here's what we're finding at Connect TV. A banner ad is doing a 0.01% click-through rate. So how impactful is that for brands? And, many, many dollars are being spent on banner ads. We're showing a 0.76 click-through rate on advertising with AdSync. So that's clearly very impactful for brands. In terms of the amount of time spent, the duration of time spent on the Connect TV service, in sync live with television programs, it's over a half hour. So, those are very significant metrics that we absolutely believe will be turning into dollars within a short period of time.
Shazam's the one that's tossing a whole lot of numbers out there about large viewerships, 400 million worldwide. What's the TV scale of what they're actually doing right now?
So, Shazam, obviously, again, kind of their DNA in music. A lot of organic Shazams happen. We live ingest 260 channels on a minute-by-minute basis here in the U.S. A lot of people Shazam TV, obviously, for the music themselves. So if you're thinking about scale there, we do 500 million Shazams on a monthly basis, an average of 7 per user per month. It took us 10 years to do our first billion Shazams, and in the last 60 days, we did another billion, so we're up to 12.
Do you have that broken down by TV and music, separated out?
We actually do, but we don't report it. We have ad ubiquity. We have all the national advertising that we ingest, and we have people Shazam it constantly. All of the television shows that we have out there. And, from a campaign-by-campaign basis, we obviously report, we validate through Nielsen on engagement rates. So there is a tremendous amount of scale.
That's actually a great point. How many of you are using third-party tools to verify for your clients the numbers that you're reporting to them? You're using Nielsen over at Shazam. Any of the rest of you using?
We use Omniture.
Okay. Anybody else, or is it still just in-house and reporting directly to your clients kind of stuff?
We use Google Analytics.
Louder?
Google Analytics. We also have the beauty of we are a public company, so most of our numbers are reported. But just to answer your previous question, are we making money for our clients? I think there's two different audiences there, right? There's the networks, or on the engagement side, our ads see, when you remove the non-point bearing ads, it's 30% completion rates from impression to completion. It's 12% when you blend everything together. So industry leading completion rates. And then if you take it to the network level, they see TuneIn, but as I mentioned before, with Scripps and also with DirecTV, they are reselling Vigil inventory as part of their packages. So they're seeing value in terms of packaging into their sales teams and pushing that through in the market.
Just on the ZBox side, numbers that we will share, we're doing millions of dollars in ad sales for 2013. And from an engagement perspective, you guys should check out a Starcom Publicis report that came out about 2 months ago. There's the pool research, so basically Viacom, Kraft, one other very large advertiser in ZBox were involved in this research study. It's got a great amount of press during advertising week. One of the headline numbers was that for our spot sync product, which allows you to synchronize a 30-second spot and offer richer engagement, there was 39% consumer engagement. 39%. Now, that's reported by SMG, and from an advertiser perspective, both the participating advertisers and those in the industry, as they see those kind of numbers and see the art of the possible in terms of how large this could be, kind of points the way in terms of 2014 and things we can be doing together.
All right, I have one. Actually, Jason, you're the one who brought it up. You used a phrase called Z-Box everywhere. And I sort of find that interesting because I have believed since this business began that there was an opportunity to take unique features that each of you developed, and I would use the word syndicate them out. You could also say license them out to other providers, whether they be a Comcast Xfinity or a DirecTV or an AOL or an anybody else. Let's take a little bit of time. We're just going to start at the end and work our way across. Talk to the audience about your interest in taking your unique features and moving them away from your platform out to a bigger audience. Brad.
So that has been our model for 4 years now. We do that with all of our partners. So they share a common backend platform. They can use APIs or SDKs. We have a very deep stack of capabilities built on all the data systems, Rovi, TMS, Sports Network, Stats, et cetera. And each partner benefits from the development work and leverage of the other partners. So if there is custom work to be done, it's all contributed back to the platform level and made available to the other partners. So the Doodle example that I showed you from Nintendo is now available to the MVPDs on the service. So they have a Doodle capability. So everyone on our platform sees themselves as a federated partnership, and with the end goal that if they can engage second screen users, then one day they'll be able to monetize second screen ads.
Thank you. Stacy.
Connect TV built a very powerful platform for syncing, sharing, clipping, really sharing content of any sort. We're backed by the top 10 local broadcast media companies, Hearst, Cox, Belo, Scripps, et cetera. Syndication is very much a part of the plan, has been from the beginning, where Connect TV will be embedded into other venues for MSOs, for media companies, et cetera. So we love that plan. We love being out there and working with an array of partners over the next several years.
Terrific. Jason.
So Z-Box's vision is to be the social network for TV. And I mentioned before breadth and depth. And ultimately our premise with Z-Box Everywhere, which Rick, as you coined, is indeed around syndication, is ultimately we have an unbelievable wealth of features. And our contention is if we can offer those features on other network.com sites like Fox.com, Discovery.com or other, it's a mousetrap. It allows consumers to be exposed to the Z-Box goodies. It's still branded Z-Box. And the premise, therefore, is if they get exposed to these goodies, we're that confident that they're going to love these experiences, that they'll want more. And that will therefore lead them from a user journey perspective back to the Z-Box mothership to download the app. Ultimately, our goal is to drive as many people on the Z-Box platform, but if there's a broader orbit or set of planets surrounding that mothership where they can get exposed to these Z-Box goodies and love what they like, then the richness we can offer in terms of that depth of experience, in terms of personalization, feeds, information, chatting with fans in a really rich, seamless, and frictionless way is ultimately the goal that we think we can achieve. So the breadth and depth piece work seamlessly together to drive that mission of being the social network for TV.
Thank you. Carlos.
Yes, so basically it's our business model. It's really what we're doing is that we provide this platform, this gamification platform to other players like broadcasters or and we allow them to do that inside their second screen application. I mean that's a real question. A lot of people believe that they could create their own user base by themselves. What we believe is that the audience belong to the broadcast. And we need to go where the audience is. And obviously there is a lot of people using the broadcaster second screen application or the brand's application, and we want to reach the consumers where they are. So that's why we propose our gamification layer on top of existing second screen application. That's only what we're doing at Quarters. So yeah.
Eric.
So there's a battle for the living room. Do I use Xbox One? Do I use my DVR from Comcast? Do I watch it on my iPad? Vigil wants to help these partners help win that battle and help consumers make that decision how they consume entertainment. And what that means is there probably is some sort of way we have to talk these different devices or be embedded with them. So it's TBD. Stay tuned. But there's definitely an argument that we have to get there in some way, shape, or form.
All right, and finally, Kevin, now I have to admit that if Jason was calling ZBox the mothership, I think Shazam is pretty close to the Death Star, so I have a feeling you are not interested in licensing your stuff out, are you?
No, we're not. We've had kind of a long history at Shazam and are really making a go of it on our own. We have that scale that we can provide and have a brand that's very recognizable. People use about 15 apps on their phone. We happen to be one of them. We're a top 10 app in the world. And so when you think about that transition from that music DNA into the television and then in cinema and in radio, all those cross-platform opportunities, it's about developing a behavior, developing that marketing message that says everything is Shazamable. And so you become this point of engagement where people can bring two-dimensional media to life and have something where in the living rooms 85% of people have smart devices at their ready. We want to be that point of engagement for all of those smart devices. So yeah, I think we take a little bit different of a look at the business, but fundamentally speaking, we take all of our customer sets, whether it's the music industry, the television industry, or the advertising industry, very seriously. We try to solve the problems for them that are created when folks are distracted watching TV, when they are listening to the radio in the car and want to know the name of a song, or that they are kind of in cinema and they're being prompted by an advertiser to win a new car. We are that point of engagement that people have a high level of brand affinity for and always at the ready, typically on the home screen of their phone.
Now, I do have to remind you that Luke Skywalker did take down the Death Star by himself with a terrifically aimed little bomb.
You've got more of a Ben Kenobi thing going, though, right?
Yeah, I know. All right, so now let's talk about terrifically aimed little bombs. Some of you guys are using your viewers and your users to generate or enhance or draw or clip content. I know that Vigil had played with using fans to generate content. Are you still doing that?
Yes, I mean we just started rolling out a lot of fan pieces. There will be able to add more commentary to it. It's all kind of, I think, the table stakes of what you need to be successful in social.
Now, are these super fans? I was having a conversation a little bit earlier today about Pretty Little Liars, which, thanks be to God, I've never actually had to watch. But 13-year-old girls tweeting about their favorite show, is that what we're seeing on Vigil?
Our audience tends to skew older, but I would say that the answer is yes. I mean, we enable people to push out content to Twitter and Facebook. We're very much part of that infrastructure. But right now it's been a lot more push in terms of experiences and content coming to the user, and we're starting to light up those social experiences. Again, coming back to what I was saying earlier, which is it helps drive other engagement across the platform.
Jason, you're obviously a fan of 13-year-old girls, or they like you, so
clearly not as much as you. Clearly not as much. No, just to add, I think at the end of the day, I think fandom has been a kind of a critical part of ZBox's DNA. Some of you guys may know TV rooms. I'll give you a very quick example. We have thousands of TV rooms, and think of TV rooms as being a kind of a chat room on steroids for your favorite topic on TV. And what we found with TV rooms, let's take The Voice, okay? Many people watch The Voice for different reasons. Some people watch The Voice because they love the banter between Blake and Adam. Some people watch The Voice because they want Shakira to come back. Other people love The Voice because of the up-and-coming stories. And with TV rooms, anyone can create a TV room in literally less than 10 seconds to talk about the topic on your TV show that you care about the most. So it's allowing you to personalize what you see on the main screen, because we all watch The Voice or any other show for different reasons. And with TV rooms, you not only get this social community building around shows, but a rich personalization there, because you can talk about the topics you want with other fans who are equally passionate. In your case, Rick, 13-year-old girls.
Thank you. Carlos, you're using a lot of fans on sports.
Yeah.
And they're actually generating content for you.
Yeah, our users are controlling the gameplay. I mean, it's not about, just participating and putting some comments and stuff like that. We have a role, among our users. You can become what we call a game master. And the game master is the one who controls, the game. So he's the one who is asking all these questions to the other fans, when they're watching a game on TV and stuff like that. They are like curators. They know exactly what question to ask at what kind of moment to ask this question. Just take, for example, a basketball game. You're not going to ask, what would be the outcome of the free throw for every single free throw you have in the game. But at the very last minute, when it's money time, you need to ask, this question every single time there is a free throw. And what we're doing at Quarter is that basically we look at our users, and if you're a very good user, if you have a very high level, if you're ranking very high, then we reach out to you and we propose you to become a game master and be, the game master for a specific team or for a specific show. And we have today more than 150 people watching TV, managing all these games for us every night, basically for free. And we also apply, gamification to them. So basically, when you start a game master, you game master level 1, you won't be paid, etc. And then you can be game master level 5 and do the Super Bowl and get paid, for managing the game. So that's very interesting, way also to engage users.
All right, and I would say that I would wait for Shazam to do an American Bandstand and let 405 million viewers rate the latest song because it's got a good beat, but you're not actually doing that, are you?
We do a number of things on TV. We are a voting mechanism in the X Factor right now, so we're responsible for about 10% of the votes that happen in the X Factor. You can think of us, I've heard a lot of really cool things, and I think the functionality for us, what we always want to do is we want to leave that up to the marketers and the television networks themselves. We're the point of engagement to get you there. All of the creativity, all of the different innovations, all of the underpinnings for the technology exist. HTML5, that result comes through. The biggest thing for network television that we've found, and Twitter has found as well, is that they need scale. They absolutely need scale in order to make things meaningful. And obviously this is early days in the business, and we're developing that behavior, as we mentioned. But in all honesty, you have to have that scale as a table stake to get into television network programming, and do so when you're engaging audiences for advertisers as well.
All right, now we're going to close, and I'm going to ask each of you. I'm closing. It says close. I'm closing. You've got 100 pennies in front of you. You have the ability to divide them up into 2 pots to concentrate on earning money for your television network partners or building audience for your television network partners. How many pennies do you put in each effort? Brad?
I'd actually split them about 60-40. I'd put 60 into the audience building category and 40 at this stage into the revenue building category.
Okay. Stacy?
I'd put it all into tune-in and engagement for my partners. That translates into revenue for them.
Jason?
I'll be the opposite. I'll be about 90% towards consumers. At the end of the day, you build a great product that consumers love, advertisers will follow.
Yeah, same for us. It's really about creating engagement with the TV viewers. That's the main focus for now. If you've got that, then the revenue will come after. That's for sure.
Okay, Eric, Biggle?
We're probably about 50-50, and the reason I say that is we need users, but the network partners are a gating item on I think growth for our users and access to the content that we put into our app, similar to Shazam. So we need them to make money, and we need to grow the pot, and we have to do it all together.
Shazam?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's the same thing. When you look at audience building or you look at engagement, those things drive ratings, and ratings mean money for advertisers and for networks by way of advertisers. And if we can build tools that the networks can package up and sell as part of their overall TV spend into the advertising agencies, then we're winning all around.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Eric Sattler, Carlos Diaz, Jason Forbes, Stacy Jolna, Kevin McKern, Brad Pilo, Mick Darling from Tomorrowish, the superheroes of the second screen. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.